It's okay to question your faith. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You were raised in a Christian household, or maybe you attended a Christian school, and one day you try asking a question. Maybe it's to your parent, or maybe it's to a religion teacher, and you ask something like, who created God? Or if God is supposed to be so loving, then why is there so much suffering in the world? Can't he do something about that? And instead of getting a well thought out answer in response, you get an answer like, well, you shouldn't question your faith. That's a sign that you don't have any faith. It's wrong to question. You just need to believe. That's it. You just gotta believe. So instead of getting an answer, you basically get reprimanded. This is a common experience, and it's something that leads people to just leave their faith altogether. And who could blame them? There seems to be a common misconception among both religious and non-religious people alike that faith means leaving your brain at the door and never questioning anything. And I think this is a myth that's not only used by people trying to discredit religious claims, but like the example I gave, I think it's also believed by religious people themselves. If that scenario sounds familiar to you, then allow me to be the first Christian to tell you it's okay to question your faith. And I even encourage you to do so, because there are legitimate answers to these questions, but you can't get answers if you don't ask questions. So if anyone from within the church is telling you to stop questioning, that should say more about them than it does the church they belong to. And when I refer to the church, I'm talking about the Catholic Church in particular. I remember this one guy called into a Catholic radio show, and the premise of this show was that atheists would call in and they would have a dialogue with a Catholic apologist. And this guy calls in and he's livid. He's like, I've asked every Christian I know, why should I believe that God exists? And, every one of them just tells me that I just need to have faith, I asked my wife, I asked my parents, I asked my pastor, my dog, my hamster, and they all just say, well, I just need to have faith. Well, I can't have faith in God any more than I can have faith in Santa. And he has a point too, right? Because if faith was making yourself believe something you have no reason to believe in the first place, then that's something that we ought to reject. Because that's not what faith is. That's what I would call blind faith. That guy just needs to buy a new hamster. But if faith is not making yourself believe something you have no reason to believe, then what exactly is faith? Within a Catholic Christian context, faith can roughly be thought of as believing something on the grounds of divine authority. So if it is the case that God exists and that God revealed something to humanity, then faith is believing in that which God has revealed. But you don't have to be religious to question your faith. Whether you're religious or not religious, I think we could all benefit from questioning why we believe what we do and making sure we have good reasons to believe what we do. And if our beliefs require us to take a blind leap of faith, then maybe it's time to reevaluate. Now, I'm sure there are many former Catholics listening now saying the reason they left the church to begin with is precisely because it requires a blind leap of faith, contrary to what I claim. But if you are a former Catholic watching this and the reason you left the church is because you thought it was irrational, anti-science, anti-intellectual, bigoted, misogynistic, homophobic, puritanical, arbitrary, hateful, childish, no more believable than Santa Claus, I would invite you to take a second look beyond the worst examples of nominal Catholics and cherry-picked Bible verses. Now, there are a ton of other reasons why someone might have beef with the Catholic Church. I assure you this is not a fact unbeknownst to me. But if any point I've made so far resonates with you, scroll down to the information below the video. That would be a good place to begin looking for answers regardless of what your objection may be. And if you'd like to watch myself explain how we can know that God exists with certitude, simply by the natural light of human reason, which means no faith required, then part 1 of that series should already be up, so you can watch that right now. So, in conclusion, whether you are religious or not, if you believe something is true, then that belief ought to be able to stand up to scrutiny, and no person that's able to think for themselves should accept things blindly without question. God gave you a brain and probably expects you to use it, so therefore, it's okay to question your faith. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment telling me about a time when a religion teacher failed you intellectually, like the examples I gave before of not giving a real answer, or telling you it's like a sin to ask questions, or that sort of thing. Listen, it's not every day that a Catholic invites you to rag on the Catholic Church, so this is like your time to shine, right? You've been waiting for this, yeah? Also, if you're a religion teacher, then tell me a story about how you successfully answered a student's question to their satisfaction, because we can't all be bad, right? Right? There. Now we all have homework. Okay, I think I've caused enough trouble for one video.
For the last 50 years, we've grown up telling people, oh, you just have to believe. Oh, you just have to have more faith. God's a mystery. Don't ask questions. Don't question God. If you do that to kids today, they're gone. They're leaving the church forever, and they're probably not going to come back.